Now, it's often said that when your hobby becomes your job, it can stop being enjoyable. One of the reasons that happens is that, you just feel under pressure to do things. And of course, you are under pressure to do things. You know, if someone's paying you to do something, then you need to get it done on time and to a high standard. Today isn't a day that somebody's paying me to do something, but I do hope to get some significant benefit out of today if it goes right. Because today is a day that I want to take a photograph which I will print as a present for somebody that I have largely lost touch with. I want the present to be meaningful and something that is straight for her. And I can't afford to get it wrong. Now, you might argue that if someone's going to the effort of going out and taking a photograph with the full intention of giving that photograph as a gift to somebody, that they should appreciate it kind of regardless. And I'm sure they would. But that's not how it works here. Anyone that suffers from imposter syndrome or any of these other kind of mind thoughts that go through our heads that really debilitate us will know where I'm coming from here. This is, you want to get it right. Who's to say what right is? I mean, you've just got to get a nice image that somebody is going to want to put on their wall and say, I appreciate that. Fact is, of course, that I've got lots of nice images that work very well on walls already, but they're not special. This image that I'm going to get today is going to be a one-off print, and I just want it to be the right one-off print. So if the exposure looking out the window from this camera is right, you will see that it's quite a bright day. There isn't a cloud in the sky, but it is pretty hazy up there. So whilst there's not a lot of cloud, there's also not a great deal of blue. This doesn't lend itself to kind of wide open landscape photography. I'm going to a place where I've got these weather conditions in mind, and later on today the weather forecast is for it to cloud over quite a bit and potentially rain as well. So where I'm off to is a woodland, and I'm hoping that the woodland has some bluebells in it. It was absolutely carpeted last year, so obviously it is a bluebell wood, but this is more a case of, are they out yet? If the bluebells aren't out, I don't have a backup plan. I mean, obviously I can just shoot what's there, but it's not an ideal day for woodland shots because it's just a little too bright. Well, I think the timing's just about right. There are masses of them. I don't know whether it's coming through on this camera, but this whole area here is carpeted with them. There's lots more to come out yet. There's still a lot that are in bud, but there are many, many fully bloomed bluebells here. Of course, I have a number of decisions to make. Do I try to get a big swathe of them, in which case the light is really harsh and there's no leaf cover, so yeah, we're working with quite a lot of shadows from the trees and such, which I think in the right conditions I could get right. Or do I go for a more intimate shot where I'm capturing bluebells amongst other things such as the fallen debris that I've got down behind me here, which I rather like the look of, and I think I'm going to go with that first. Bluebells are protected by law, so you shouldn't trample them, damage them in any way, certainly shouldn't pick them. And it makes detailed photographs challenging, to say the least, because you just can't go into these spaces and get the right angle on it. So you have to work from the path. And I've got a couple of shots. You can see it's quite a convoluted little setup here. I've got a polarised one. It's not doing a lot now because the sun's behind me, but I was shooting kind of opposed to the sun, 45 degrees to the sun a little while ago, and it was taking down a lot of the reflections on the leaves because, well, they're incredibly bright. Have I got a great shot here, or in the previous one that I didn't film? Always reserve judgment until I get back.
I actually made so many mistakes with these shots that I didn't think I was going to show them. I've resurrected them a little.
Lack of access is always going to be a problem when you're trying to shoot something where you're not allowed. So yeah, it poses difficulties, and as you can see, I've had to get this high. I mean, ideally I'd want it higher still, but I've only got an inch or two, and that's really not going to make a lot of difference. What I've done is I've come up the rise and around the corner, found the other couple of photographers down here as well, and immediately I've noticed, and when you can see it down there, the sun has caught some new leaves growing on the trees right up in the distance. It's really, really beautiful green. And just below it there's a patch of beautiful blue. But in order to get that, you need the kind of heights that the blue's as big as it can be. The lower you get, the smaller it gets. And well, yeah, it's extremes of working with the tripod. You know, I can't see what I'm doing too easily. The sun's incredibly bright up here. I'm having to shade the screen with my sit mat to get an idea, and I haven't bought my other glasses which will enable me to focus properly on the screen. So yeah, everything is against me. I'm creating a whole heap of excuses. I hope the photos are right. Do let me know.
Remember in the car journey when I mentioned that pressure, you know, during the bit that you undoubtedly didn't watch and skipped forward on? Well, I think the pressure got to me because this was awful, but the scene itself was really nice. I just needed to attack it in a different way, and I ended up doing that in post.
There's always something in the way in woodland, and it's difficult sometimes to just find that clear visual path right the way through to where you want to be. The wind today is pretty brisk. I mean, it's not windy, but it's breezy, and you can see just how much everything is being blown about by it, which obviously is restricting my ability to shoot anything that's detailed, because I've got to find a completely sheltered area. So a lot of what I'm attempting here are scenes of bluebells, and I've got a really lovely depth scene here. The tree base is mostly, from what I can tell, beech, and it goes a long way into this woodland, as far as the eye can see, you might say, and it's really rather nice. As ever, I have to try and balance things in here. What I'd like to keep in, what I want to keep out. What I'd like to keep in is down by the closest tree that we're getting. There's a really kind of fallen branch, and that kind of anchors the bottom right hand side of the corner. Equally, I'm getting a a low branch of a really close tree right in the top right hand corner, and I can't have both, it seems. So my choice is to try and maybe change lens and get the tree in, which I don't really want because it's just too big well, not very photogenic in this sense here. Or do I sacrifice that lower third and just zoom a little further in? I'm not sure. Or do we just say, well, it's there, I can't get it out, we just live with it? Which I think is what I am going to do there with the shot. You see, I'm keeping the polarizer on here, and the principal reason is it's allowing me to control some of the highlights, the reflections on the tree trunks, and it's doing a good job of it actually. It's putting the detail back that the sun is blowing out. Would you believe on a sunny day like this, I've pushed the ISO up to 800, and the principal reason is the wind. I need to, as much as possible, anything in the foreground, I need to freeze the action of it, because otherwise it's just a blur. Yeah, you don't mind that blur going back into the distance, because, well, it's a blur anyway. You know, it's we're talking about lots and lots and lots of detail just being compressed into a very small area, so that's okay. But I can't afford for it to happen here, and I'm running at f13 and I'm only getting an 80th of a second. Obviously I'll get more if I take the polarizer off, but then I end up with other issues that I need to deal with as well, which I may be able to deal with just exposure. Maybe just exposure brush, I'll just pulling down the highlights in post-production. But obviously the brighter I make the image, the slower the shutter speed anyway. You pay your money and you take your choice. I don't know. I've shot one or two here. You tell me what you think. So you know I like to be different, and this is different. Macro lens, I'm not shooting at macro, I'm about a quarter real size. I've got in my sights a bluebell, just one bluebell stem, only it's still in bud, and I'm liking what I'm seeing on the screen here. I have to focus stack this because I absolutely must keep the background in shadow. And now I've put the bracketing on, I need to draw back a little bit so that I get what I want in shot. I'm also acting as a shadow on this because I don't want the bright light. If I put this on video, I don't want the bright light like that to be on the shot. It's crucial I get the background as soft as possible, because this is exactly what this shot relies on. It relies on that background being soft. Remote shutter release. There's a little bit of a breeze here. It's quite sheltered, and boom. Just wait for the camera to combine these in a stack. Let's look at that. Is it sharp? Oh, it falls ever so slightly at the very tip of that bud and down the stem. Let's just increase, because that wasn't that many. Light's gone. Oh, it's back, and oh, let's hope, because this is a really nice image. And the battery in the camera is about to bloody flatten as well. I don't want to set this up again if I can avoid it. Is that good? Let's look. This is a nice image. It's a very nice image. And it's the only place I've found so far that isn't absolutely burdened by the wind. I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy with this. And it might be the shot that gets printed for the for this gift. Not sure. Anyway, I'll tell you at the end which one I chose. But for the moment, here's this shot, and I hope you like it. Do let me know down in the comments, please. So I've been here for about half an hour, 40 minutes, just because it's so sheltered and there are plenty of little spaces for me to just inch into without damaging anything. I've just stayed here. These may be the best shots I've ever got of bluebells. I do love macro, as you know. Well, you do if you'd watched the channel enough. And they're just wonderful subjects to get detail on, and because it's sheltered, there's hardly any movement, and oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and I think perhaps this shot that I've got here, or one of the similar ones at slightly different angles, is going to be the one, because it's so detailed yet so simple, and I hope she'll appreciate that, because these are nice. These are very nice, and who doesn't like a bluebell? Anyway, a few more macro bluebells coming up. Very flat now, as you can see, and it's producing images that are just a bit meh. Bluebells and swaths of bluebells really do need a bit of light on them, and ideally a bit of shadow as well, to just create some interest. Otherwise it's just a sea of kind of blue dots. But who am I to decry that? I mean, I've yet to produce an image of bluebells that I'm very, very pleased with. Maybe today is it. I hope today is. We've got quite a number of small detail shots from the scene I've just come from, and I'm hoping one of those will create a banging image that will also make a brilliant print to hang on someone's wall as a gift. I'll let you know which one I've chosen. Take care, we'll see you next time. Well, I went and got the picture printed and mounted and framed, and I went along to sign it, and I stopped short of dedicating it earlier, and I'm very much in two minds about giving it as a gift at all. This is just a root cause of my ongoing depression, and I don't know what to do with this, and I'm sorry to kind of end a video like this, because it's not what you signed up for. I don't think it's what any of us signed up for, but I've been hurt so much. I've been kicked in the teeth, and I don't know whether giving this is the right or the wrong thing to do. my fear is that giving it is going to be entirely the wrong thing, or it's more going to have a reaction that I don't want. And I'm now stuck with an image that is going to be forever just forever a reminder of how things have just gone wrong. And yeah, sorry.